first, before we do anything else, in the spirit of transparency, I have to admit something to you guys.
Sounds serious.
Yeah, it is. My 13-year-old self is screaming right now, and I probably fainted a few times, that 13-year-old self. and just so you guys can thoroughly appreciate just how legitimate that statement is, I brought a couple of mementos for you guys to see.
Right.
So first of all, we have the 2009 tour.
Classic one there.
Yep.
So many young faces.
Who's that lad on the left there at the very end?
Look how low.
George.
Is that his son?
That's his son there, yeah.
What's left when you're looking at it?
It's very loved, as you can see.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah, more than a lot. That's
Plenty
good.
of times.
Fair play to you.
And the other thing is, this is going to demonstrate to you just how embarrassing my teenage years were. My very Irish mother kind of fueled my affection for an imaginary relationship with Damien right here, because he's of course the closest to my age. And for a very long time, for most of my youth actually, we had this on just so everyone can see.
How come there's pinholes? Is that the darts that you use?
You must have woken up at
You
night.
can kind of see them a little bit.
Where did that angel go?
But this, I got to look into your eyes so often.
There you
Yeah.
are. There we
A
are.
little
God,
bit.
Did your parents put that up to stop you going near the fire or something?
It's funny. He's got
Mom,
less.
did you?
He's got less wrinkles than the current
Yeah.
version, unfortunately.
All right,
Updated version. But there you go.
Well, clearly
Not too
that
bad.
was a long time ago, and we're both now.
Clearly.
Moving on to the next thing.
I love the way you said
You've got a bit of
clearly.
taste now, you see.
It's been about a month since this tour commenced, and the Legacy Tour is Celtic Thunder's 9th in 9 years. It's almost a decade. What makes this tour different compared to those from the past, dating all the way back to 2007, when Damien over here was stealing my heart with Puppy Love?
I think the show is that it's grown very organically in the sense that it's gained its own life over the last 9 years. It started out with a very a direction that we all knew what it was, that it was a certain way that had to be done. But over the years, the lineup's changed, our styles have changed. We've all grown as artists, we've grown as a group, we've grown as people, we've gained experience. So I think this tour Legacy is sort of a homage to all that, and with it combined, I think we're presenting, I believe, the best show we've ever presented, to be honest. So we have a ton of material. We've had some new stuff. We've stuff over the years, over the last 8 or 9 years of Celtic Thunder. Songs that you can't come to a Celtic Thunder concert and not hear, such as Ireland's Call. So we're very proud of this tour, and it's something that we're happy to take on the road.
Kind of feels like the tour or the show that defines Celtic Thunder, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it has taken the strongest songs over the last 10 years, well, nearly 10 years now,
Yeah,
and put it into one. It's the people's choice as well, so it's all rolled into one. So when you're getting up there, it feels like we're hitting them over the head very hard with the strong songs. You can see it in the people when they're looking at us on stage. That they're really loving every song as it comes.
Yeah, and that's every single concert that you guys have had, the 9 tours. Oh my gosh.
The feedback I think for this one has been the most positive it's ever been, and that's from us, from talking to people after the shows and meet and greets and stuff. It really are people, and these are people who have been like yourself, hardened fans from the very beginning. But they're still, they're saying this is the best we've seen. Which is it's great for us to hear that, because I think it's easy for a show like this to get stagnant and people go, well, it's more of the same, but that's not what we're hearing, and that's very positive.
Yeah, and I want to touch on what Damien was saying basically at the beginning about how Celtic Thunder has seen a lot of different lineups, and it's a group, it's not an individual, and that's demonstrated in the different lineups and how it's mixed up. And that composition started changing in 2011 when Emmett joined the Seventh, not the other one. And with those diverse personalities and voices, you guys still maintain this beautiful dynamic on stage. So what is the key to maintaining that cohesion both on and off the stage as a group of guys and as a group of singers?
Well, I think just what you touched on, like when I came in 2011, like the boys had obviously been on the road for a few years and had toured quite a lot in the States, and I suppose the show was very much defined and people had a great idea of what it was. But the thing that was said to me about coming into Celtic Thunder is, yes, you're part of a group, and you have to understand what the Celtic Thunder show is, but at the same time, you know, Sharon and David, our musical director, want you to express yourself as a personality as well. They want you to come in and contribute, you know, put your best foot forward, be yourself, don't try and come in and impersonate someone else. And more than, like Michael, this is his first tour, he's come in and he's very much been himself. So I think that's the nice balance, as Damon said about Celtic Thunder, is, you know, we all are individual artists and we do our thing. You see that in our solo songs, but then obviously when we come together as a group, it's, you know, the Celtic Thunder sound when you hear it straight away. And no matter who's in the lineup, you'll know based on the arrangements we do of Irish songs. And like a lot of the time, these are very well-known Irish songs that, you know, loads of great artists have done before, and we like to put our own stamp on them. So I think when you get that nice mix, the fans love to see us go out and be individuals, but they also love us being on stage together. And, like, you know, I think one of the reasons why this has been the most successful tour so far is that there's so much laughter going on stage as well.
We genuinely want to be here.
Yeah.
That's one thing for sure. This
Yeah.
group is very excited to be here.
So
Yeah, exactly.
I think when you get honesty on stage, you know, nothing beats that, and that radiates to the fans straight away, and then you get it back. I think it's very hard to, especially when you're on a tour. I think this is 72 shows. You can't go out and fake it. You have to genuinely go out and enjoy it and go for it. And luckily, I think we all manage to do that every night.
Michael, from your perspective, I'd like to go to you because you are the newest member. You're coming into what I'd say is a family, and and there's so much history there. Can you tell me from your perspective what it's like coming in as the new guy?
I was nervous at the start, you know. I mean, you're coming into a big, well-oiled machine, you know. It's been going for nearly 10 years, so well known in the States. And
You had a Damien poster too, didn't you? You left yours.
We all did when we were
Two of
young.
them, yeah.
He doesn't know that.
It's weird. Still has one in his pocket.
It's a scary thing about it.
Yeah, I keep trying to slip mine in there, but it keeps falling out. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, so it was the great thing about it was how welcoming everybody was, you know. Like I was very nervous at the start, and you know, I got some great advice from the guys. I got some great advice from likes of Sharon and Dave, just saying be yourself, just do whatever makes you feel comfortable, and you know, it's made it so much easier ever since, you know. I mean, it's crazy. I've come from doing, you know, gigs at home, playing in pubs, playing at weddings, to now playing in front of nearly 5,000 people a night, you know, 1,000, whatever, you know. It's insane, you know. It's a massive step up. You know?
Can I add, he came in as a singer, you know, and it was after the first couple of days of like rehearsal and stuff like that, he picked up a guitar and says, I play a little bit of guitar. I says, oh great, yeah, I do myself, you know. I picked it up and he just went, flew all of this fantastic guitar player, you know.
It's like, I'm okay.
It was about a week later. We were in, I forget, was it Pittsburgh, and we were having a look around a few instrument shops, you know, and there was a pawn shop there. We walked in to see if there was any deals on guitars and stuff done, you know. There was 2 saxophones at the near the door.
Going.
And I was going up and I was talking to the guy behind the counter, you know, about a couple of guitars and stuff, you know, and all I heard was this, back in the door, look there, and there he was, playing the saxophone fantastically, you know, a multi-instrumentalist as well, you know, so he's a bit of a dark horse, you know.
Yeah.
He's just
Oh my
letting
gosh,
these
what other
colours
things
come
are you
out
gonna
every now and then, you know.
They're starting to let some talent into the show at this stage, so we're a bit worried.
Which is worrying.
Yeah.
He's gonna kick all of you out.
Yeah.
Be a one-man band
I know.
after this.
He's showing us up.
So, conversely, how do you guys kind of look at the new guy? Because though you left for a little bit and you left for a little bit, you guys have been here the entire time. How do you guys kind of welcome the people coming in?
Well, it's in the sense of in a musical sense, it's been great because it's not just another singer coming in. There's many boxes that they need to tick in the sense of the color of their voice, the texture of their voice, if they can blend with the ensemble, and you know, the range of their voice. And Michael has a kind of a higher range than any of us in the group, you know, which sits up there really nice on the top, you know. So all of those boxes were ticked straight away, you know. But there's another fundamental thing, and that's if you can get along with everybody socially. And it's a huge thing when you're living with each other for 4 months on a bus, you know. And so far so good, you know. He hasn't robbed anything on us, or
He's like,
not
this is actually
that we've
for you.
noticed yet, you know.
I think a very impressive aspect I've seen is that as a new member of the group, he came in and not only is he mixing with everybody incredibly well, but you know, the two things, the most important thing you can ask from someone is a work ethic. and he came in, and I think we can all say I've never heard him do a wrong harmony or not know his part, and that's pretty impressive considering there is a lot of material in there
A lot
over
of
the last
pressure,
8 or
yeah.
9 years, and a lot of pressure, and he's never had any issues, so that's a fair play to him.
Yeah.
Good job. So much has happened in the last 9 years, almost a decade, and Legacy is, I think we were all agreeing, it's a celebration of, a recognition of the music and artistry that was born during that time. But I think it's also a celebration of the memories and of the people who have come and gone. How has the group handled these changes and people who have left and people who have come in? And especially given this tour, this is the first time in the group's establishment since it's been without Keith and George. So how have you guys handled that?
I think it's, you know, I mean, obviously with George, obviously losing George, for anyone who doesn't know, he passed away a few years ago, and that was a massive thing, and it hit us all very hard because, you know, as we've sort of, you know, been speaking about, this is a family, and it's losing a memory of a family, and losing them in a way that, you know, we never prepared for it or suspected that was going to happen at all. So, I mean, when people leave the group and go on and do other things, of course you're positive for them, and you know, you want to see them go on and do well, and that's just the nature of this business, you know. But I think it's very different when someone passes away like George did, you know. But I often think it's also it's a pretty I guess, you know, apparent in this tour that it's called Legacy, and I don't think anybody epitomises the legacy of Celtic Thunder more than George Donaldson did from the very first day. That's, you know, I remember meeting him down in the very first auditions in 2007 back then, and George loved the show, and he loved doing it, and he loved singing, and I think, you know, people maybe have said this, well, you know, was it worth going on then or what? And I think you could not have gone on, because George would loved the fact that we're still going on and singing his songs that he was very much part of, you know, and so I feel, you know, when we are going out, and we've often said it, that, you know, there's a sixth man on stage every night we go out, and that's still the case with George, and these songs that are songs that you still hear his big voice in your head when you're singing them, because he was always a key member of them, you know. So I think that's, you know, people have come and left the group and come back, and that's as I say, it's all part of the whole musical, you know, industry and the carousel we're all on. But Big George never left. He's still there, you know.
Well, that was perfectly said. Thank you, because I think we all felt that, the entire community, Celtic Thunder community, which I think includes definitely all the fans and the people who've carried through. So musically, how have you guys kind of changed the arrangements for Legacy, and even other tours, because there are new people coming in, and the sound of Legacy is a little different. You know, the arrangements are different. So I know that you guys might not be directly involved in that change, but how does it make it? Do you think it makes it fresher and newer to people who've seen it, or just kind of while still having the undertones of this is what we are, this is what we're built on?
It's a live show. Everything's happening on stage at that moment, and you know, like sometimes we might change the songs around throughout the tour, but also I think everything's upped it a gear in terms of pace, interaction on stage. We also play a lot more in the show. I know in the very first tour, I don't think many of you guys actually got the chance to play. You know, it was always the band and the singers, but now we all play as well throughout the show. So that all adds another dynamic to it. Also, we all do each other's backing vocals as well. You know, what fans maybe don't see is off stage there's a vocal booth where, you know, Michael might be out singing a song, and actually the four of us are singing backing vocals for him. Likewise with one of Ryan's songs, you know. So all that adds to a busier show, and I think that brings the energy up on stage. So I think overall the energy is bigger in this tour than it has been, and I think in any tour. So that's why I think people are maybe looking at thinking, I don't know what's different, but something just feels like it's up to the gear. So
certainly quicker as well. As you said, the tempos have risen on most of the songs, and that's the thing. So it's a faster show.
And behind the scenes, I think like every day, you know, the show the night before is critiqued by the musical director as well, you know, in a really good way. Let's say, okay, there's a certain corner here in a song we can make better, we can make it tighter, you know, we can push or pull a beat or something like that. It might be just that, you know, but it's making it better all the time. And, you know, even with 72 shows on the night before the 72nd show, there'll be something that they will say, lads, we can make this better, you know. So it's all about just keeping it better and better and better. So we just strive to do that all the time.
All right. So I want to start wrapping it up because I know you guys have to go do sound check, but you guys do have fiercely loyal fans like me, as you can tell. But because this kind of feels like this is a representation of everything that you guys have done, and you guys have basically done everything you can. You've done, mythology and everything else. So what can fans expect from Celtic Thunder as a group in the future?
Get the boss.
Are we allowed to say this?
Usually the fans tell us what's next for Celtic Thunder rather than we tell the fans. But it's the show has evolved, it keeps evolving, and that's the thing. As I said, I don't think we'd be talking about our 9th year going into our 10th year if the show hadn't evolved and keeps changing and moving. Obviously, it's obvious to say when people think about a 10-year anniversary, then that's obviously a landmark, and there's no doubt there's a big talk of marking that in some way, I'm sure. We changed around a lot last year. We did a symphony tour where we sang with full orchestras, and that was pretty amazing for us as singers. And I think the crowds really loved that as well. It's something very different to sing with a big massive orchestra and have a big massive sound.
It completely changes the dynamic.
It does change it. So there's so many different possibilities, and that's the beauty of it. We don't want to do the same stuff. The crowds don't want to hear the same stuff. They want it to be different every time, and that's what we always have to try and do. So
it's not going away, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We're not going
Well, that's good to know. Thank God.
There'll be more Damien posters available on the next tour.
I'm gonna go buy one downstairs.
Unfortunately,
they're just not quite as pretty.
Unfortunately, they just don't sell like they used to.
Well, you don't have a baby face anymore. I don't want to creep you any more than I am, but this is me.
You were joking.
Oh wow,
That's hilarious.
How'd you get up on stage beside him?
No, that's what I wanted to pretend I was doing. But
very good.
this is, I think, the first one, the very first
That's
DVD.
Hills, yeah.
Very small head.
It was. Yep, or one of those. And then this is, my mom likes to call this the paparazzi show.
San Diego.
8 years ago.
Oh, I don't even know.
Remember that San Diego hoodie?
We look a lot younger. I mind that as well.
All right, so I've creeped you out.
It's good to see you again.
All right, thank you. He's like, I have no idea who you are.
You get a few bob for them now,
I think he's a little bit.
Do you want to jump in there for a quick photo before I take
Yeah.
you?